It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the first day of September. Where did August go? Wow. Coming to you from Bedford County in Central Virginia. A very wet morning here. We started dealing with a little bit of the outer bands of Ida last night. We had some tornado warnings until about 3 a.m. and then it left us for a while, and then it came back again today with just general rain. We're not getting it really bad. The bad stuff stayed west of us, but we do have some rain this morning. So I want to go to therapy today. I'm going to get wet, but I got wet when I was at the pool yesterday, so that's neither here nor there. A couple of announcements this morning before we get started. The next two Thursdays, tomorrow and next Thursday, there will be no live stream. I will post a video at 11 o'clock. It'll go on the air at 11 o'clock with the day's news. I've got doctor's appointments both Thursdays, so there's just no way around it. So anyway, I will get the updated news, travel and cruise industry news will be posted before I leave. All right, today we're going to look, of course, we'll look at weather. We've got another hurricane by this weekend, a cruise season in Brazil, some Singapore crew variations, the U.S. removed from the Europe safe zone, Santa Barbara's closed and staying closed. Puerto Rico now and St. Lucia are now at threat level 4 from the CDC, and some vaccination thoughts. All this morning on Wednesday, Travel and Cruise Industry News with the old fat guy. But first, let's take a look at the weather. Ida is now, actually, it's about 130 miles absolutely due west of the farm is the center of Ida now, which that puts it somewhere in the vicinity of 130 miles north of Knoxville. It's still carrying about 30-mile-an-hour winds. There's still some pretty significant rainfall, and they're expecting some widespread heavy rain, life-threatening flash flooding through today and tomorrow as the remnants of Ida move up through the central Appalachians, mid-Atlantic, into southern New York and southern New England. The depression is moving toward the northeast about 24 miles an hour. That's expected to continue today and tomorrow. Some strengthening is forecast later today and tonight as Ida becomes extra tropical. So the second thing to look at is a broad area of low pressure that's producing disorganized shower activity over the southwestern Caribbean. That's the yellow X down there, folks. Some slow development of this system is possible over the next couple of days while it moves westward or west-northwestward at 5 to 10 miles an hour toward Central America, possibly heading toward the Yucatan again. Land interaction with Central America and the Yucatan Peninsula and Mexico are most likely. They're still saying the chance of development is fairly low at between 20 and 30%. But that's a new system, and it could get into some warm water and start strengthening, and then, who knows what's going to happen. All right, tenacious compact tropical depression Kate is still holding on as a cyclone over the central Atlantic. The last readings I had, she's about 895 miles northeast of the Leeward Islands. Sustained winds 35 miles an hour. She's moving north-northwest at 9, so she's not going anywhere probably. Central pressure is 1,007. It's projected to be a remnant low by tomorrow, dissipating on Friday. Now we've got Larry. That was depression 12. Actually, I don't think it was 12 by the time we were on the air yesterday. It became 12. And that now has been strengthened into a tropical storm, Larry, over the eastern tropical Atlantic. The summary as of 8 o'clock CVT, that's Cabo Verde time, if you don't know that one. 175 miles south of the southernmost Cabo Verde Islands. Maximum sustained winds 45 miles an hour. It's moving west at 20. Pressure is down to 1,003. A westward to west-northwestern motion, that's just changed, is expected during the next couple of days, followed by a turn to the northwest over the weekend. Maximum sustained winds have increased to 45 miles an hour with higher gusts. Additional strengthening is forecast during the next few days, and Larry is forecast to become a hurricane by late Thursday or Friday. Now, with that little change in direction, that's going to throw Larry more toward Bermuda, kind of following along behind Kate. Kate doesn't have the strength to get to Bermuda, but in the general direction of Kate, which if you extend that on, you're going to be looking at Bermuda. So this one's expected to be a much stronger storm than Kate was. That's it on the weather. All right. Brazil is trying to reopen after more than a year. The question is, will the government approve the plans so that cruise ships can return to Brazil? A total of 7 ships are scheduled for the rest of this year and next, which will be the start of the Brazil cruise season. It's going to feature 2 cruise lines, Costa and MSC. But with the biggest ships yet to sail in Brazil, it could be a blockbuster season if it goes ahead. The operation depends on approval from the Brazilian government. And there we get into politics, and you guys know what I think about politics. It doesn't matter which side you're on. I don't like any of it. While meetings are being carried out with local authorities, cruise representatives, and the ports, a final decision remains in the hands of the politicians. Yuck. Costa Cruises is now poised to bring 2 ships to Brazil. The Esmeralda is set to become the largest cruise ship ever to sail in the region. Based in Santos, Esmeralda is scheduled to offer week-long itinerary to Salvador and Elias between December and April. Costa Fascinosa is also returning for another season in the region. She sails out of Rio and Araha. The vessel is offering a different itinerary, which also includes calls in Argentina and Uruguay. MSC is planning 5 ships in the Brazil season. For the first time, the MSC Seaside will be offering cruises from Santos to Salvador, Marcelo, and other destinations. The MSC Splendida will also be based in Santos, sailing a series of Argentina and Uruguay itineraries. The MSC Sinfonia and the MSC Preciosa will sail a variety of cruises from Idaho and Rio. MSC Orchestra will be based in Buenos Aires, offering itineraries to Brazil from its Argentina home port. Celebrity, Princess, Norwegian, and Viking all plan longer international cruises that stop in Brazil. Now, let's get the government in Brazil to approve all that. So we'll have a Brazilian cruise season. One of my bucket lists, folks. I've not been down there. Hot Air Tom's been down that way. That was last year. That was I guess that was 2 years ago now. I'm thinking last year was okay. Anyway, Hot Air Tom's been there. And I see we got Gretchen, Carol, Cindy, and Jason. Where's Hot Air Tom? I'm going to get to Hot Air Tom in a minute, Jason. Right now, he is having a massage, but I'm going to tell you why in just a second. All right. That's Quantum of the Seas. Singapore, it's an interesting story out of Singapore, has started the vaccination process of crew and staff working on board cruise vessels homeported in that country, according to the Singapore Cruise Society. Quite frankly, folks, it's the first time I've ever used any information from the Singapore Cruise Society. This thanks to CVAX, a sea crew program that aims to vaccinate all crew members working for more than 30 days on board cruise vessels that are homeported or under repair in shipyards, as well as other non-cruise vessels. The cruise members are being offered the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines. Companies or individuals should be prepared to pay for the vaccination services, Singapore Cruise Society wrote. According to the website, Royal Caribbean International is vaccinating its staff on board Quantum on 4 separate dates when the vessel is at berth. The cruise line expects all crew aboard the ship to be fully vaccinated by early October. Dream Cruises World Dream is also expected to start the vaccination process soon. Singapore Cruise Society wrote, the first members of the crew will receive their first doses of the vaccines today. How about that? Now, speaking of vaccines, folks, let's look first at who has been vaccinated. Okay? Who's been vaccinated? First, Donald Trump and every other living U.S. president. All 50 governors, both Republicans and Democrats, all vaccinated. Nearly 100% of U.S. congressmen and congresswomen, both Republican and Democrat, are vaccinated. 96% of American physicians are vaccinated. 75 to 80% of the military, and that soon will be 100%. Who's not vaccinated? 99.2% of all people currently dying of COVID are not vaccinated. Now, Hot Air Tom's cousin, I believe it was his cousin, posted this, and Tom sent it to me yesterday. You might remember he mentioned it yesterday while he was talking. And no, Jason, this is not getting to the Hot Air Tom massage yet. I'll get to that in a minute. His cousin wrote this, and I thought it was worth sharing, and I'm just flat going to read it, folks. I'm making no bones about that one because there's no way I could get it uploaded. But Tom's cousin said, I'm fully vaccinated, and no, I don't know what's in it. Neither this vaccine, the ones I had as a child, nor in the Big Mac or in hot dogs or in other treatments, whether it's for cancer, AIDS, or one for polyarthritis or vaccine for infants or children, I trust my doctor when he says it's needed. I also don't know what's in ibuprofen, Tylenol, or other meds. It just cures my headaches and my pains. I don't know what's in the ink for tattoos, vaping, or every ingredient in my soap or shampoo or even deodorants. I don't know the long-term effect of cell phone use or whether or not the restaurant I just ate in really used clean foods and washed their hands. In short, there's a lot of things I don't know and never will. I just know one thing: life is short, very short, and I still want to do something other than just going to work every day or staying locked in my home. I still want to travel and hug people without fear and find a little feeling of life before. As a child and as an adult, I've been vaccinated for mumps, measles, rubella, polio, chickenpox, and quite a few others. My parents and I trusted the science and never had to suffer through or transmit any of said diseases. I'm vaccinated not to please the government, but to not die from COVID-19, to not clutter a hospital bed if I'm sick, to hug my loved ones, to not have to do a PCR or antigen test to go out dancing, go to a restaurant, go on holidays, or many more things to come. To live my life, to have my kids and grandkids back in school, play sports that I can watch. For COVID-19 to be an old memory and to protect us all. Well said. Okay. Let's see where I am now. The European Union has removed the United States from its safe list of countries whose residents can travel to its 27 member states without requirements like quarantine and testing. What does this mean for Americans looking to cruise in Europe? Well, truthfully, not a whole lot yet. So far, the biggest challenge is simply not to be confusing. Some on social media were screaming yesterday that Americans are now banned from visiting Europe. That's not the case. The EU rules are non-binding and member states can choose whether or not to follow the guidance, much like the CDC guidance here in this country. The U.S. has been on Europe's safe list of travel since June, enabling American travelers to enter UA countries without quarantining. The list is reviewed every 2 weeks. So that, unfortunately, is what's happening in Europe. They're recommending no travel from the United States. So, all right. That's Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara is closed. It's going to stay closed. One of the more popular ports of call for cruise lines like Celebrity, Princess, and Holland America has banned cruise ships until March 2022. Santa Barbara, California, perched between the Santa Ynez Mountains and the Pacific Ocean in California, is a popular tender port on the Pacific coast that many cruise lines have on their itinerary. Santa Barbara Waterfront Development and City Mayor Kathy Murillo decided to put its cruise ship program on hold until at least March 2022 because of COVID concerns. Holland America has the Zuiderdam and Koningsdam scheduled for visits in October. Also affected are itineraries for Princess and Celebrity. So, Santa Barbara is closed. All right, the CDC yesterday has increased the COVID threat level to level 4, signifying a high risk of COVID-19 for 2 additional cruise destinations. Puerto Rico and St. Lucia have now been added to the list. The list of cruise destinations that have been given a level 4, very high level of COVID designation is steadily growing. Besides Puerto Rico and St. Lucia, the list includes the Bahamas, St. Martin, Aruba, Dominica, Curacao, St. Bart's, Martinique, U.S. Virgin Islands, and the British Virgin Islands. Currently, for the 2 cruise destinations, the CDC says that travelers should get fully vaccinated before traveling. Well, most of the cruise lines are now doing that because of the Bahamas. For St. Lucia, it's also advised to follow local protocols, include wearing a mask and staying 6 feet apart. And I know people are going to complain about that, but that's neither here nor there. So that's what the CDC. Okay. So now the story about Hot Air Tom. Hot Air Tom decides he's going to go snorkeling yesterday. So he goes down to the Chica Lodge dock and he gets on that little boat right there and they go out in the water to the snorkeling area. And Tom looks out and says, "Oh my God, that's Emily. How did Emily get down here so fast?" So So what happened? You have to understand that what Hot Air Tom did was he got all his snorkeling gear and stuff on. You see, you know the mask and freezing thing and the flippers, and he swam underwater over there to what he thought was Emily, and he reached up from under the water and grabbed this lady in the bikini by the leg, and she hit him over the head with the paddleboarding oar because they were supping. That's stand-up paddleboarding. I learned that from Emily. See, so they hit Tom over the head with a oar, and then he got back on the boat. You know, this boat here. He got back on that boat out there in the water, and then Cindy hit him over the head with a scuba tank. Tom is currently resting and having some kind of massage back at Esmeralda. That's the truth and nothing but the truth about Hot Air Tom and his snorkeling. Yes. And if you believe that, I got some land in Florida I'd love to sell you. Anyway, Tom is, by the way, in a massage as we speak. What kind of, it wasn't the shell massage, some kind of a hot rock massage, or I don't know. He'll have to tell us about it when he can speak again, after he recovers from getting hit in the head twice. Okay, folks, this is specifically for Jason, Pittsburgh Jason. Back in the day, Jason, and I had to do some thinking about this one. Back in the day, I took the train trolley from the cruise ship on Curacao. Only that's what it looked like today. It wasn't pink when I took it, at least that I don't remember. It was white, I think. I don't have pictures of it because a lot of the things that happened in those days in Pittsburgh, then the ex-wife has, and I ain't going back for it. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I took the train trolley down to the Seaquarium. In those days, it went from Willemstad. I never could pronounce that town, the city, the main spot in Curacao. Okay, in the old city part. You could, if the tour went around town and showed you things like the fort and the church, and there was an old synagogue and that kind of thing in the old city. And then it went across the bridge to the south, and you could get off at the Seaquarium, which I've been to 15 Seaquariums. I didn't want to do that, but the Seaquarium Beach, which is like a quarter of a mile away, definitely in walking distance, had all kinds of bars and stuff. And there was a bar there called Chill's Beach Bar or something like that. And that was close enough to Chillie. So I said, hell, that's where I'm going. Well, right across the street. Now, this is taken from the Seaquarium. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see my, does that show? No, it doesn't show my arrow. But anyway, the first darker roofed building there is Hemmings Way's bar. The days that I was there, this wasn't a big resort. It's now some kind of resort. But Hemmings Way bar, I walked around from the Seaquarium to Hemmings Way bar and had an adult beverage. And then if you see to the left on the picture, Jason, go past the little beach area. That's actually it's like in a sound. I'll show you on the map in a minute. Go across that beach, and the next little body of water you see coming in is open beach. That's where all the bars are, and that is Seaquarium Beach, even though Seaquarium's back down here. Now, if you look at the map, the Seaquarium is down here on the little hooky thing, the little green there. That's the Seaquarium. And this is right across from that, across this little body of water here, is Hemmings Way Bar, which is part of some resort area now, and a landscape resort or something like that. And then right across that little beach that I showed you that's on the inland here, along this area, is called Membo Beach. And there's a whole bunch of bars, including Chill's Beach Bar. And that's where I spent the day having adult beverages. And then I walked back to the Seaquarium and got on the trolley back to the ship. Now, in Curacao today, apparently the train trolley doesn't go that way, so you got to find some transportation. But there's got to be some transportation from the boat to the Seaquarium. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff around the Seaquarium. There's ATVs and Jeep adventures and I don't know what all. And probably there's got to be some transportation to Seaquarium Beach. That's where you want to go. Because I know you guys like to go to a beach and as a beach bar and have an adult beverage while you're looking at the sand. No airplanes are going to come over your head there like you did in St. Martin. But that's what's going to happen. That's what I think you should do in Curacao. All right. Everybody keep in mind, tomorrow won't be live. I will have a video that'll be released at 11 o'clock tomorrow. So don't forget that. And next Thursday, the same thing, because actually at 11 o'clock exactly, I'll be in the doctor's, like getting poked on or whatever. All right, Gretchen, Carol, Cindy, and Jason, we're all here. Emily's with us. She says she just got up. Katie's with us. Amy's with us. Cindy says, hey, Jason, we can now say we cruise next month. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Allison just said she was off the coast of Santander in Spain and she spotted some whales. Yes, I am hoping to have Allison on when she gets a decent signal or gets back home, and we're going to talk about that. We need to see Hot Air Tom on a sup. Hot Air Tom probably wants nothing to do with the sup after the lady hit him in the head with the paddle. Honest, that's true, folks. That's really true. Mm-hmm. Emily says, I had to see Hot Air do some snorkeling. I don't have video proof. I have proof that he was at the boat and he did see the suppers. Is that what you call people that are stand-up paddle boarding? Suppers? I never have gotten that one clear. And Allison is also playing bingo. Sinful. Jason says, thank you for the information. I might just go there. Chillie's Beach Bar. Yeah, well, it's Chills, but that's close enough. Back in the day on some of the old ships, there was Chillie's Bar. Actually spelled my way, too, because that was in the days when with my $1,000 bar tabs on Carnival cruise ships. Emily said, good luck at the doctor tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I got to go check the guy that took out the port. I've still got a pretty good lump in my across from my jugular vein. So I got to look at that and see if I got to do anything about it. So let's see. Cindy says we are doing Curacao highlights in a Mambo Beach, and Curacao includes liquor tasting. Nice. Mambo Beach. That's a hot spot. I mean, there's there's got to be a bunch of bars and restaurants, beach bars and restaurants down there on Mambo Beach in Curacao. Great spot. Good. That's a good highlight, Cindy. Glad you're doing it. Allison said the Wi-Fi is kind of rubbish. Yeah, that's why I haven't had her on yet. They call us suppers. I was correct in that. What do you know? I'm not often correct, folks. I'm usually wrong about things, but oh well. All right, that's going to wrap me up today, guys. Everybody have a terrific day. If you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. Our guys like to get together and do all kinds of chatting back and forth. If you ever have any questions or anything, you drop it in the comments and let us know. Like Jason asked what I'd recommend to do in Curacao. So I told him what I do, but what I did and how I did it back then. So at any rate, folks, that's going to wrap me up. Like I say, tomorrow will be a video instead of live, but then I'll be back live on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So for now, this is the old fat travel guy. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.